Game week, realize there's a little bit more attention placed on this game. We need to get a win, so it doesn't really matter who our opponent is, but a challenging team coming in. I know they're adding Deshaun to the mix offensively, but without him, their offense has really put up yardage, have an excellent running back, one of the top running backs in our game. They have at least one number one receiver, good tight end, good offensive line. So that would be a challenge to stop the run. We have played the run. Last couple of weeks we played the run better, which is a good thing. Seems like we're trending in the right direction. We'll need to play our best game, of course, this week. And on the other side of the ball, two first-round draft picks at the defensive end position. Myles Garrett is as good as there is in the league, I think. So it'll be a tough challenge for us. Our football team, Wednesday, Kyle, anytime you practice, you're going to get better. So it's good for him to get a Wednesday practice, to get, pretty much, most of the reps, to just throw to the guys all of that goes into practicing. Injury-wise, the same an injury list will come out. We'll kind of stay with it. But Derek Stingley still has a mild hamstring. That's getting better. Rex Burkhead is still in the concussion protocol. We'll take your question.
You talked about how before the last couple of weeks, y'all were basically in every game, but these last couple of weeks it hasn't really been like that. Do you worry about the morale when not only not winning, but it's these blowouts like this?
Well, Chris, I'm going to say we got back into that last one. And, we were getting close to being in striking range with it. So we're going to try to build on some of the good things we did in that second half. But I think the guys, you as an NFL player, you got to, good or bad, you got to put that to rest and move on. That's why we're excited about this opportunity. When we haven't played our best ball, we have another opportunity to make a lot of improvements in just about all areas. I think that's what the guys are doing. I know that's how they practice. They come to work each day.
Amari Cooper with Derek still in sideline. How big of a challenge is Amari just in the matchup with him?
He's as I said, he's a one receiver, and he's a great college player. There's a reason why he's, you look at his bank account, he's getting paid the way that he is. So it'll be a challenge without Derek. That was the case last week. That's life in the NFL too. Our guys, Des King, Steve Johnson, and the rest of the guys have to step up.
In the way that you can, you mentioned how you're helping out Kenyon Green with Justin McCray plans there, but how do you help support a player through that schematically when you're also trying to balance moving the ball and doing what you want to do?
Well, as far as Justin playing to help out Kenyon, that's not a part of it. I mean, to play in exactly what it is, you got to, let somebody else try a few snaps as much as anything. Maybe looking from another perspective maybe it helps you a little bit, but we're going to keep going. You can't, there's 11 guys on the field, and that position has a hole its own most of the time. It's not like Kenyon has bad plays every time he's out there. He did some good things this past week. Hopefully he'll be able to do some more good things this coming game.
Lovie, you kind of mentioned a little bit about the rushing attack, and you look at guys like Nick Chubb, but also Kareem Hunt. They're really efficient in the red zone. Where have you seen them really find their stride this season?
Well, I think red zone, yeah, but I think it's all over the football field. When you're a good running back, I don't think it really matters kind of where you are a little bit. They're just productive backs. Chubb, he can run in between the tackles. Both of them have good speed. They can definitely run in between the tackles. They're a hard guy to tackle also. And that's what makes this offense, and that's why we can't get into, this trap of now all of a sudden they're going to become a team that's going to pass it for 50 times. I just don't believe that's what they'll do. I think they'll continue to do what they believe in offensively, and that's continue to give the ball to those two guys.
Coach, after watching the film for the second week in a row, what have you seen that has led to the decline of Damian Pierce?
I wish we knew exactly, the reason why we haven't been able to run the football. I'm gonna say that more than the decline of Damon Pierce. I think part of why Damon had success early on was what we were doing up front. So we have to talk about what we're doing up front right now. Also early on, though, on some of those plays that Damon, a lot of his yards that he's gotten has been yards after contact a little bit. So it's hard to maintain a certain level throughout an NFL season. We have time to get it right. Hopefully we'll see that. We're talking about Cleveland's offensive, rushing output. We need to be able to max it. Meet that as much as we can, and hopefully we get that going this week.
Damien made the point too that some others are outnumbered with the amount of people that they have in the tackle box, and that people are copying scheme after scheme. We've also had some standout defensive tackles the last several weeks. Is there anything that can be done to mitigate when they have people?
I'm going to say that's been the case since game one. Defensively, you can always get an extra guy in the box every snap. And for running football teams, that's life in NFL. Yes, there's been great interior defensive linemen that we played most of the year. We're going to play very good ones this week also. So, again, we've been dealing with that. We've got to find a way to still run the football under those circumstances.
Only just to get back off the question, Damien only had 5 carries, and I know you all got behind early, but you all also mixed it up. Was that more game plan, or was that more so, taking it?
I mean, in an ideal world, I think we've seen how we would like to mix it up, run pass. We want to have balance. You get behind like that, it's hard to have balance. No fault in how we did it. It's which we had to complete it more passes. That wasn't a day to worry about how many carries a running back's going to get. We're just trying to get some production some kind of way. You get into a game, you have a game plan coming in, but that game plan can change at any time, and I have no problem with what we were trying to do that last game.
With Brevin Jordan the last 3 weeks sidelined, what has gone into that decision? Where is he at in terms of?
Well, what's gone into it is that I feel like we have 4 tight ends that can play, and we can only dress 3. It's kind of simple as that. Nothing Brevin has done wrong. We've mixed it up. We've given all the guys an opportunity. He's been patient, and that's kind of the case. We have other players. We have a wide receiver, Rodgers, that's a good player that hadn't been. We have a running back that hadn't been able to. We have a good linebacker last week that didn't play. That's just life. I'm going to say in NFL too, when you're as healthy as we are. Normally you have injuries where it kind of works itself out. But the guys, everybody deserves to play, normally gets an opportunity to.
With Deshaun, it's almost unprecedented for someone that's not injured to be out as long as he has been. So I wonder if you're obviously a defensive-minded guy, when you're telling your defenders, do you tell them to expect to see rust, or what do you say? I know he's a very good player, but it's been a long time.
No, Chrissy, we're telling our guys we're going to see the best version of Deshaun. And I think you go into every game that way. Have no idea. I mean, he hadn't played for a long period of time, but we hope that there's some rust and all those things. But no, that's not what we're telling them. We're telling them that we're showing them the stats. One of the best offenses in the league statistically, adding a great player. So that should say that they're going to be better. That's how we're going into the football game. It's going to be a tough challenge if they're throwing the ball with the receivers that they have. But we know that the easiest thing that there is to do to get a player back into the mix is to hand the ball off to 2 excellent running backs. That's how we're going into the game.
You touched on improving on the run defense. What things did you all do to improve that, and do you feel like you all at a point where you feel like it's sustainable that you all keep doing?
Well, we hope we continue to get better. I mean, that's definitely, what we're going. What have we done? We've continued to go to practice. It takes time, is what I'm going to say. It's a process. You want it to be just perfect right away. We played a lot of young players, and they're getting better. We're getting, I think you just continue to practice. Eventually, you let the same guys stay out there and keep working together. They'll correct some of the things. And as far as run defense, a lot of what we were doing is we've had guys in the box. It's not like we've been calling defenses where they have an extra guy. We don't have enough guys to stop the run. You got to be able to finish in plays, be able to tackle, and not let them get explosive plays. All those things is what we've been doing a little bit better these last couple of weeks.
When you look at their secondary, they have two really good players. One everyone knows is Denzel Ward, but Greg Newsom, their secondary corner, has taken strides, especially in man coverage. What have you seen from him?
First, I've known Greg for a long period of time, recruited him, know his family well, know him. He's an excellent football player, as you mentioned. There's a reason why he's first-round draft pick. He's got the skill set. So both of their corners are, excellent football players. Their safeties are too. And that's why, we see the challenge that we have as far as that's concerned. But we have good players too, and we got to be able to pass the football. And sometimes you need to pass the ball more than others. If that's the case, we like some of the matchups that we have.
Christian Harris, was it feel good about how he looked out there?
Mm-hmm.
Banged up on Sunday.
You say, how does he look out there? He's getting better. It's not like, whenever you can't finish a game, there's concern, but we're hoping he'll be okay. It's nothing season-ending about what, his growth. He needs to continue to play. He's missed a lot of time, right when he's taking steps up. You start missing time. Of course, that doesn't help the case, but hopefully he'll be ready to go.
Coach, knowing what you do know about Deshaun and how he plays, when you're looking at the film preparing for this and you see Jacoby Brissett and how he played, are there some things that you noticed that he and that offense were able to mimic as if when Deshaun is on the field, what he does outside of the pocket, throwing the ball down the field? Are you able to draw some similarities?
No, I hadn't really looked at it that way. When Jacoby played, he was playing excellent football right up until the last game he played, running their offense. You have a multiple offense, you do everything. Most NFL offenses are similar. So it's not like, there's an option team and the ones that's passing the ball. So I think it's a similar offense. Some of the things Deshaun has done in the past is what they're already doing there. So I don't think they're going to change up an awful lot. Some of the things that, of course, they were doing with Jacoby, a lot of them, Deshaun can. Deshaun Watson can do, he could go into any offense and whatever they're doing, make it look, eventually make that offense look pretty good. We're just hoping, it takes a few weeks.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
I know that you've had a few days since the game. Do you feel like you'll learn from that and you'll improve for the next one?
Yeah, I think I said after the game, it's just execution and staying within the plan and just limit the big mistakes. I think we said after the game, but the interception early just really put us out of range and can't put the team in that position. So a lot of things to learn from, but on to the next.
Defense, especially last year, what are some of the challenges of the Browns?
Yeah, I played with Miles in college, so I know firsthand how good he is, and he's only gotten better since then. So the edge rushers are obviously really good. The defense they got a lot of stars over there. They got a lot of good players. I think, they pose a good challenge for us just like last week. So, we're going to work through it and get a plan together and get ready for them.
You guys are organizing the run game. How are you seeing, you guys manage that with rotating players, trying to make the scheme work? It's your first game and going into your second.
Yeah, I think we've done a good job with the run game most of the year. I think when you're down 17-0 early in the game, it's tough to run the ball. You got to start throwing it around to get back in the game. But I think, as always, we have a commitment to the run, and everybody in our running back room can do well. Obviously, DP's gotten most of the carries this year, and he's done well with it. But you see Dari go in, Rex go in, and we just signed Eno from the Cardinals. He's looked good so far. So I think everyone in that room has the ability to go and make it happen.
You mentioned that you played with Miles in college. What do you remember from him back then, and did you expect him to end up what he's become?
Yeah, I just remember his picture from high school with him running around. I think everyone's seen it, but to him looking like he does now, and then a bunch of his high school teammates, he looks like he's 30 years older than them, But, he's a freak. He's a good dude. He was the best player on our team then. He's probably one of the best players in the league now.
Take me back in, you've been in not a similar, maybe a similar situation, but like when you were in Carolina and you had to come in out of nowhere when Cam got hurt. What do you remember about kind of being thrust into that role, and why do you think during those first few weeks you were successful?
I mean, every situation is different. Different coaching, different scheme, different players, different organization. I think. Really what I've tried to always focus on is just one game at a time, one play at a time, and stay in the moment. I think that's why I was successful then. I didn't know how many games I was going to play, and so I just stayed in the moment, and, that's what I try and do now. It's not always going to work out, as you see on Sunday, but I think that's kind of the mindset I've always had, is just, come to the line of scrimmage with the play in every play, and then just play that play and move on.
If you could speak to Myles Garrett, what would you tell him now?
Be nice to me.
Just back, what stands out about, or what type of things when you think back on that time, about that moment, what stands out?
In Carolina? I mean, it was a lot of highs early and then a lot of lows late. It was a learning year. It's like you said, the year before I was undrafted. I wasn't even on a team until week 10, and then the next year I'm starting for most of the season. So I think it was just a huge learning experience, and you try and learn as much as you can, and every year is still the same.
With that experience, have you been able to talk to Davis Mills about helping him get through this period of time that he's in right now?
Yeah, we've had conversations, and it's like I told you guys, Davis is a super talented player. Like, he's got it all. It's just he's young. He's been thrust into a tough situation. It's a great opportunity for him, and he's going to be back on that field at some point. He's too good of a player to not be out there. And so I think everyone in their career is going to face some type of adversity, and sometimes you got to go through it to come out the other side better. And I think he's definitely going to come out the other side better.
How do you view the goal going forward for you and the offense and the team?
I mean, execute, score points. Got to make it happen on offense. I think throughout the season, it's early in games, it's been tough for us on offense. So we got to find a way to execute early, find a way to get on the board, find a way to let our defense play with a lead. I think we put our defense in tough situations all year. So I think for us, it's literally just as simple as execution and just trying to find a way to win games.
When you look at right now the secondary of Cleveland, they have two really good cornerbacks. Most people know Denzel Ward. When you look at Greg Newsome, his ability to read and react, especially as a young player, how does that make it a little bit more challenging when it comes to timing and anticipation that he goes off?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, you need the timing and anticipation to beat guys like that. I think the way those guys play, they play with their eyes on the quarterback. They're reading drops. They're reading route combinations. They're both very good players, and they get put in good positions to make plays. And, they got good guys on the edge. They got good guys on the outside. They really got good guys throughout the whole defense, but those corners especially are good players.
Maybe you just talked about the stacked tackle box. I mean, those numbers are out there, and your offensive line say, hey, they want us to throw. How much is there opportunity in that, and also some challenges when the running game has been taken away?
Well, I mean, last game they were playing too high most of the game. So, I mean, there has been times where they're playing one high and putting it in the box, but for whatever reason, Miami showed a little different, and they were playing too high most of the game early. And so I don't think that's the reason we couldn't run the ball. I think it's because we were down big. We didn't want to run the ball because it's not going to do anything for us at that time. So I think that's a week-to-week thing. I don't think that teams have been giving us stacked boxes because we commit to the run.
Did you feel like the rust was, you hadn't played in over a year, did you feel like rust was at all real, and if so, in what way was it?
I don't know if it was rust. I just think, it's like I said, there's a couple bad decisions. We went 3 and outs twice early, and we were down 10-0, and then, the pick put them at the 2-yard line, and they scored, and then 17-0, and so we're just climbing back. I don't know if I don't think it's a rust thing. I think it's just an overall theme of the offense. We got to execute early in the games to put ourselves in good position.
Having said that, do you believe that having that experience last week after not playing a meaningful game in a long time will help you going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I think any experience on the field, and especially this is my first time in a new system. I was in the same system my whole career, so getting that real live bullets experience in the new system and with these guys out there that I haven't really practiced with, I think it's going to help a lot.
How does this week of practice change? Last week you found out you really started on Friday, but this week you go into the week knowing that. How does the week of prep and practice change?
I mean, I'll just get more reps. I think the prep's the same. I prepped like I was going to play last week, and I just think for me, I'll just get a little bit more reps, and then also last week we took Thursday off for Thanksgiving. This week we'll have another practice on Thursday, which will be really helpful.
Do you feel like
Go ahead.
do you feel like right now, knowing that you are going to be the starter this week, it does do a little bit more with your confidence, especially working through drives with receivers like Nico and Brandon?
Not really. I don't know. I think either way I was fine.
I know it's only been one game, but from what you have been able to see on Sunday and even throughout the season on the sideline, how would you best evaluate Pep Hamilton as a play caller?
I think Pep's been great in the quarterback room. Pep's been trying to put us in the best positions, and the one thing I love about Pep is we're in it together. You get some coaches sometimes where it's a coach, coaches blame himself on players, but I mean, when we're out there on Sunday, we're in it all together, and we're working through things, and it's been a tough year for us on offense, but I think when you look at football, it's easy to point fingers at the quarterback, or it's easy to point fingers at the OC or the court, like whatever, but it's at the end of the day, there's 11 guys out there. It's a team game, and those guys got to make it happen. So, I mean, I think Pep's been good for us this year.
You mentioned that relationship. I mean, you were on the sideline. Driscoll was on the sideline last game. You guys are in that meeting room together. How did you approach that? What's that dynamic like? How do you all kind of work together and try to fix what you've been trying to fix all year?
I mean, it's just you got to reset and come back every week and still have motivation to want to fix it. I think it can get tough when you lose a bunch of games in a row to keep wanting to come back to work and motivate yourself to try and fix it when you're giving it your all every week and it's not working. But I mean, Pep and Ted and all the boys in that room, we all come ready to go come Tuesday or Wednesday when it's the next week. So I really appreciate that from all of them. And, some guys could cash in at this point, but no one has.
Is there a thing from whenever you're on the sidelines that you can remember just in your last game that helped you? You're like, okay, that's something I noticed earlier.
I mean, not specifically. I think, you kind of go over adjustments of what their game plan is. Miami was a very game planish defense depending on who they were playing, and so we kind of got a feel of what they were going to do early in the game, and so, I mean, I guess that would be it, but nothing really specific.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.